In this video, we are going to talk through Lesson 1, which is Forecasting Objectives and Uses of Module 10, the Demand Forecasting. We will explain what it means and run through how it is used. This is Nichole Jane, and on behalf of the group, I'd like to welcome you all and thank you for excusing the unnecessary background noise you will hear in this presentation. So first, when we say forecasting, it is the process of examining and understanding current and historical data in order to predict future patterns using a scientific and systematic approach. Demand forecasting refers to the technique of estimating a product's future demand in terms of a unit or monetary value. While the forecasts are found to be essential for the smooth operations of business organizations, they are able to provide information that can assist and support managers in guiding future activities towards organizational goals. Operations managers are mainly concerned with forecasts of demand which are commonly made by or with the help of marketing. However, managers also depend on forecasts to estimate raw material prices, plan for appropriate level of personnel, help to decide how much inventory to carry, and host of other activities and processes. These results are better utilization of capacity, more responsive service to customers, and improved profitability. So now, we will go to the purpose of objectives of forecasting. Mr. DAYO will tackle and explain it to you.
Purpose and objective of forecasting. Thank you, Ms. Oka, for the introduction. So now, we all know what is the meaning of forecasting, and now, I will tackle to all of you what is the purpose and objective of forecasting. The purpose of forecasting is to help the organization manage the present as to prepare for the future by examining the most probable future demand pattern. However, forecasting has its constraints. For example, we cannot estimate a pattern for technologies and product where there is no existing pattern or data. Objective of forecasting. The objective of business forecasting is to be as precise as possible so that resource planning can be done in a cost-effective manner, resulting in optimal resource use. Business forecasting aids in the establishment of relationship among a variety of variables that go into the production of a product. Each prediction situation, as well as the forecasting approach, must be examined separately. Forecasts are found to be essential for the smooth operation of business organization. They are able to provide information that can assist and support manager in guiding future activities toward organizational goals. Since I've done with my topic, the next reporter will go over the classification of business forecasting. Here's Mr. GUEVARRA to introduce to you the next topic.
Classification of business forecasting. Business forecasting has many dimensions and varieties depending upon the utility and applications. There are three basic forms are as follows. One is economic forecasting. These forecasts are related to the broader macroeconomic and microeconomic factors prevailing in the current business environment. It includes forecasting of inflation rate, interest rate, gross domestic product, etc. at the macro level and working of particular industry at micro level. Demand forecast. Organization conduct analysis on its pre-existing database or conduct market survey to understand and predict future demands. Operational planning is done based on demand forecasting. Technology forecast. This type of forecast is used to forecast future technology upgradation. Once again, this is John Guevara. The lesson 1 is finally done. Other reporters discuss their parts which are the definition of forecasting, purpose and objectives, and lastly, the classification of forecasting. So now, I will proudly say that lesson 1 is finally over. So we will go to lesson 2. After me is Miss ARRIETA tackles you in lesson 2.
I'm Miss Kith ARRIETA, and I'd like to thank you for staying with us this far. In Lesson 2, Forecasting Decision Variables, I will tackle the function of forecasting activities. Lesson 2, Forecasting Decision Variables, cited by Anil Kumar and Suresh, 2009. Forecasting activities are a function of the following. Number 1 is type of forecast. Under these are A. Economic forecast, which is addressing or to address business cycle, inflation rate, money supply, housing starts, and etc. B is technological forecast, which predict rate of technological progress, impacts, development of new products. C. Demand forecasts, which predicts sales of existing product. Second function is timeline of business forecasting. A forecast and its conclusion are valid within a specific time frame or horizon. These time horizons are categorized as follows. A. Long-term forecasting, which tends to be completed at high levels in the organization. The time frame is generally considered longer than 2 years into the future. Detailed knowledge about the products and markets are required due to the high degree of uncertainty. This is commonly the case with new products entering the market, emerging new technologies, and opening new facilities. Often no historical data is available. B is medium-term forecasting tends to be several months up to 2 years into the future and is referred to as intermediate term, both quantitative and qualitative. Forecasting may be used in this time of frame. C is short-term forecasting. It is daily up to months in the future. These forecasts are used for operational decision-making such as inventory planning, ordering, and scheduling of the workforce. Usually, quantitative methods such as time series analysis are used in this time frame. For the continuation of function of forecasting activities, here is Ms. Jewell LALAP.
Thank you for the introduction. Like what Miss Kate said, this is the continuation. So I will discuss the next function. Number 3, the database available and methodology employed. What is qualitative forecasting? It is a technique that is subjective based on the opinion and judgment of consumers and experts. They are appropriate when past data are not available. They are usually applied to intermediate or long-range decisions. In the following, we discuss some examples of qualitative forecasting techniques. First, executive judgment or top-down. Groups of high-level executives will often assume responsibility for the forecast. They will collaborate to examine market data and look at future trends for the business. Often, they will use statistical models as well as market experts to arrive at a forecast. Second, sales force opinions are bottom-up. The sales force in a business are those persons most close to the customers. Their opinions are of high value. Often, the sales force personnel are asked to give their future projections for their area or territory. Once all of those are reviewed, they may be combined to form an overall forecast for the district or region. Once again, this is Ms. Jewell LALAP. The next reporter will tackle the Delphi method that is still part of the database available and methodology employed.
Thank you, Ms. Jewell. The part that I will discuss to you is about Delphi method and the other functions that part of database available and methodology employed. So let's begin with Delphi method. What is Delphi method? The Delphi method was invented by Olaf Helmer and Norman Delphi of the Rand Corporation in the 1950s for the purpose of addressing a specific military problem. The method relies on the key assumption that forecasts from a group are generally more accurate than those from individuals. The aim of the Delphi method is to construct consensus forecasts from a group of experts in a structured, iterative manner. A facilitator is appointed in order to implement and manage the process. The Delphi method generally involves the following stages. Number 1, a panel of experts is assembled. Number 2, forecasting tasks. Challenges are set and distributed to the experts. Number 3, experts return initial forecasts and justifications. These are compiled and summarized in order to provide feedback. Number 4, feedback. Feedback is provided to the experts, who now review their forecasts in the light of the feedback. This step may be iterated until the satisfactory level of consensus is reached. Number 5, final forecasts are constructed by aggregating the experts' forecasts. Market surveys. Some organizations will employ market research firms to solicit information from consumers regarding opinions on products and future purchasing plans. The last reporter of this group is Miss Pescana. She will discuss the final discussion for this topic.
I'm Trisha Pescana, the last reporter in our group. So now, what is quantitative forecasting? It is used to forecast future data as a function of past data. They are appropriate to use when past numeric data is available and when it is reasonable to assume that some of the patterns in the data are expected to continue into the future. These methods are usually applied to short or intermediate range decisions. Some examples of quantitative forecasting methods are casual econometric forecasting method, last period demand, simple and weighted end period moving average, and exponential smoothing, which are categorized as time series methods. Casual econometric forecasting method. Some forecasting methods try to identify the underlying factors that might influence the variable that is being forecast. For example, including information about climate patterns might improve the ability of a model to predict umbrella sales. Forecasts of demand are anchored primarily on non-random trends and relationship with an allowance for random components. Forecasts for groups of products have the tendency to be more accurate than those single products, and short-term forecasts are considered more accurate than long-term forecasts, or those greater than 5 years. Quantification also improves the objectivity and precision of a forecast. Once again, this presentation is brought to you by Group 2, BSE 3A. Thank you for staying tuned.